and did not want to sign, but one of the armed men lowered his gun and threatened to beat his grandfather if he did not comply. Out of fear, he wrote his name at a point that was marked X. According to A1, PW1 in the trial within a trial only told him to write his name. Then the hooded men again, the men again put a hood on his head and returned him to the cells. He challenged the testimony of PW2 in the trial within a trial, saying that he was detained at Bukoto Crime Intelligence and not in Kireka. He added that he only saw PW2 on the day of his arrest before he was taken to Bukoto. He explained that he was told by fellow inmates the following day when he was taken somewhere that he was now in Kireka. He testified that on that Friday he was transferred from Bukoto to Kireka, and during cross-examination he said that he first saw PW1 at 5 p.m. on the day he was arrested. He had never seen her before, and he mentioned that he saw her when she testified in court, but could not clearly remember her. He was unsure if she was the same person who made him sign the documents. That was in cross-examination, contradicting his earlier statement in which he confirmed that he knew PW1 in the trial within a trial. He further testified that he never communicated with her, with PW1 in the office. He never revealed his identity to her. She did not ask him any questions. It was only after the hood was removed that he saw the other armed men who were standing behind him as he was forced to sign the statement. That is briefly the facts of both parties. I have thoroughly, the prosecution, neither the prosecution nor the defense obliged with the court order to file submissions. They simply ignored it. They did not offer any explanations for their non-compliance. Nonetheless, this does not prevent the court from proceeding to determine the matter and render its ruling, which I have done. I have thoroughly reviewed the evidence and consulted the relevant laws and that when the admissibility of a charge and caution statement nonetheless, the burden of proof still rests with the prosecution to show that that statement, the confession, was voluntary, was not influenced by factors set out in Section 24 of the Evidence Act.
NBS happening now.
Consider another decision of the Supreme Court in the case of Walusimbi, Andrew Walusimbi and others, which is Supreme Court decision number 28 of 1995. The court emphasized that Section 25, as it then was, which is now 24, does not merely require the statement to be apparently true. Instead, the focus should be on how the statement was made, whether the circumstances made the confession an untrue confession, and whether the statement was voluntarily and supported by grounds for believing it to be true. Basically, the case of Walusimbi emphasizes the two principles. For a confession to be admissible, it must be true and voluntary. To determine whether that statement is admissible, I've just posed one question. Was the charge and caution statement attributed to A1 made voluntarily? I have thoroughly analyzed the evidence from PW1 in the trial within a trial and PW2 in a trial within a trial, together with the accused's own accounts of the circumstances that surround the recording of the impugned charge and caution statement. Based on this review, I conclude as follows. PW1 and PW2 in the trial within a trial confirmed each other's accounts regarding key aspects of the process. PW1 testified that a male officer brought the accused to her, left him alone with her to record his statement, later took him away. PW2, on the other hand, stated that he removed the accused from the cells, escorted him to an office where a woman was waiting, left him there, later returned to take him back to the cells. Their accounts are largely consistent about the timing also. PW1 said she recorded the statement around 5:20. PW2 estimated that he removed the accused from cells between 3 and 4. He does not know the exact time. He returned about 1 hour later to collect him. Although the witness did not specify the exact times, his testimony indicates that the accused was in PW1's custody during the late afternoon or early evening of that day, and their accounts broadly match. The minor discrepancies in timing are typical of truthful witnesses, recalling events from years past. That does not undermine the core of their testimony. I would be shocked if they were very exact about the time. That would be actually evidence of concocted or pre-planned statements. I find further support of the credibility of the prosecution's case in this regard, in the nature and duration of interaction between PW1 and the accused. PW1 testified that she engaged the accused in a conversation, established his preferred language of communication, explained the charge and caution statement to him, recorded his account, read it back to him, thereafter translated it into English. PW2, on the other hand, testified that after escorting the accused to PW1's office, he returned an hour later to take him back to cells. Their evidence, therefore, demonstrates that PW1 spent a considerable amount of time interacting with the accused. It is therefore surprising that when she testified in court years later, it's therefore unsurprising that when she testified years later, she was able to recognize the accused as the person from whom she recorded the statement. Her evidence reveals substantial compliance with the requirements of the evidence rules regarding confession statements, as stipulated in the decision of Festo Asenua. Despite rigorous cross-examination, the defense was unable to materially shake her account on the process. I further note that both witnesses made admissions which are unlikely if they were attempting to manipulate their testimony. PW1 openly admitted that she did not know the person who brought the accused to her. He was a stranger to her. She had been called by her superior and directed to go to Kireka to record a statement from a suspect. So she did not even record the person to whom she handed back the statement after recording it. She also admitted not questioning the accused's literacy. Likewise, PW2 admitted that he did not sign the sales register when removing the accused. He also admitted that he lacked written authorization to do so. I should clarify that I do not consider their omissions relevant to the voluntariness of this statement, although it was something that the defense spent some time on. Both parties agreed that the accused was in police custody at all relevant times and was taken from cells to record the contested statement. Although these admissions reveal gross procedural lapse in the Uganda police and lack of structured, strategic methods in the way they deal with suspects, removing suspects from cells, as was shown in this particular case, and in many cases that have come before the High Court. These admissions enhance the witnesses, those two witnesses' credibility. In other words, they were honest enough to admit facts rather than attempt to appear perfect. In contrast, the accused's testimony included some multiple inconsistencies and improbabilities, undermining its credibility. And it strikes low that where an accused person deliberately tells lies, those lies, if proved, corroborate the prosecution's case. While he initially stated that PW1 on the day of his arrest, that he saw PW1 on the day of his arrest, he described her as a woman before the documents who told him to sign. He later claimed he did not remember her at all and was unsure if she was the same person who made him sign the documents. I find this hard in concept.
NBS happening now.
Saint Charles Lwanga was the head of Kabaka Mwanga's pages, working in the court of a great audience hall and a great wrestler, yet with exceptional leadership skills. During the Christian persecution, Charles displayed unshakable faith and exceptional Christian bravery that the Christian martyrdom was centered on. To punish him, Senkole, the assistant chief executioner, separated him from the other Christians and was burnt in a slow fire from feet to the head on the 3rd of June 1886 at Namugongo. His martyrdom site is the spot where the altar of the Uganda Martyrs Shrine currently stands. St. Charles Lwanga is the patron of African youth and of Catholic action.
Brought to you by One by One makes a bando. United Media is your gateway to a countrywide radio station. With a coalition of more than 120 radio stations, 15 TV channels, 20 online publications, you can cover every region and community with convenience and no hassle. Guaranteed impact with consolidated communication and localized engagement. Whether it's an MDA, development partner, FMCG, or regular advertiser, United Media is a truly one-stop shop for your communication needs. United Media, together we will shape the future.
Final episodes of this spellbinding saga to crown the new Premier League kings. Haaland saved. Ahmadashvili's gone the right way. Big moment. That's astonishing.
Download AfroMobile today and enjoy your favorite game with NBS Sport and NBS Sport 2, where every second and win comes to life. AfroMobile, your sports, your way.